It's just setting up.
Devin Booker's got the mask on tonight.
Yes, sir. All right, I think they finished. Steven, you ready?
All right. Yep.
All right, let's go. We got next. Fast break. Let's get it.
All right. So we all like, oh, you gotta let me share, dude.
You good?
This guy. So we all love a wholesome video. All right. You got me on the Twitter feed? On the Twitter feed?
Yeah.
Okay. So we all love a wholesome video in sports. And I'll say, so to kind of set the scene on this one, we've all seen the videos of parents watching their kids hit a home run in Little League, you know, in the majors and all that kind of good stuff. And it's usually baseball that's like more prevalent that we see these videos of parents, because a home run is like a big deal. Because I feel like, you know, college, you know, in other sports, college basketball, college football, if you're really good, you're scoring touchdowns, you're getting baskets pretty often. So baseball, when you go through the minors, and anybody who knows baseball knows that the trip through the minor leagues is no, you know, it's no quick thing, and you're there for potentially a hot second. But this player for the Rays, I'm going to mess up the name, Wander Franco, one of the top prospects in the majors, hit his first home run. This was June 22nd. And we always see like the video of the parent as the home run's happening, but it's rare to see this picture-in-picture type of thing with him hitting the home run, his dad's reaction. I'd love to see the video that his dad had, but check it out for yourself.
And what's crazy is he was recording every single moment of it.
Yeah.
Too. Like that's literally a proud father for
you.
Yo,
like dead ass. I was just thinking that, like as a parent, as a father, just like a great moment, you know?
Yeah. He's from the DR, so the Dominican Republic. He's only 20 years old.
Yeah, you know the whole, you know, they're all hyped down there.
Everybody, yes. That's like
he's
one
hyped,
of those you're bringing home for your country.
Yeah.
And just the way he did it, it was one of those that the player was hyped, dad was hyped, everyone around was hyped. And it's good for the Rays, too.
Yeah, good for them. What I was saying, though, like as a parent, as a father, and, you know, someone who has a son, you know, it's like I got excited when Mason was shooting baskets on the Fisher Price hoop. That's like 3.5 feet tall, but he was cooking. You know, he was cooking from deep. I sent you the video. He was cooking from deep, and like, you know, he's 2. So I can't even imagine what my reaction would be if he hit a home run in the majors.
Yes.
You know, and then you see, your first, the whole family's there. Like, you got the whole DR behind you.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody who knows baseball knows that the DR is like,
that's it.
Like when if it's baseball, like they're following you your entire, every pitch, every at bat, everything. They're going to be behind you. So I think that was good. Nice little wholesome video that we had. You always like to share those. Always like to make people aware of that kind of good stuff. There's always so much negativity going on in the world. So we always like people to be aware of those kind of things. So that was our highlight for the day.
So appreciate that, Steven. So we'll get into introduction as always. My name is Christian Hayes. I'm with my co-host, Steven Springer. And we just want to say thank you all for watching every single time. So what jersey you got on today, Steven?
those of you who don't know, and not a lot of people know this because the last decade has been pretty shitty for us, but I'm a huge Detroit Pistons fan. I mentioned we had our interview with Mike Chan on Monday night. We'll get into that here shortly. But we were talking about, he used to work for the Capitals. I said I'm a big Penguins fan. My dad's side of the family is all from Pittsburgh, so there's no NBA team in Pittsburgh. I wasn't a Philly fan, so I saw the Pistons play the Sixers in a preseason game or like some random exhibition game back in State College, and the Pistons won that game, and I was like, all right, cool. They beat the Sixers. I didn't like Philly at the time. They had Stackhouse. They were, they were all right, but they were all right. But that was before they got, Ben and Rashid and Chauncey and Rip and Tayshaun and all those guys. I think it was just before that. So, I mean, I've stuck with them this long. I've been putting my fan card in and out and in and out of the lineup. But earlier this week, it was known that the Pistons, not the Rockets, the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons will have the number 1 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. And they're going to take Cade Cunningham out of Oklahoma State. They're not going to take anybody else. They're not even going to look. I think they only have one scheduled visit, and it's Cade Cunningham. Yeah. I would have been okay if they would have got number 2 and gotten Evan Mobley from USC, have a big man. But no, we're going with Cade Cunningham, and we're finally going to rise up from the ashes, and we're going to come back to where we were. It might take a couple of years, but we're going to be back. Yeah. But now it's time to trust the process in Detroit.
They got Casey out there, don't they?
Dwayne Casey. Yeah. Got a very young team. I'm really hoping that they surround Cade Cunningham. He's going to be the cornerstone. I'm really hoping they build around him. They got a lot of young players over the last handful of years. So it's very exciting as a Pistons fan. I'm giving them 1 season.
I know.
I'm giving them 1 season. No, I'm giving them 1 season. If we're back in the lottery next year, I'm telling you right now, if we are back in the lottery next year, that isn't like via trade or something. If we're back in the lottery because we suck that bad, I'm done.
Yeah, that's not good.
We will come back to this. We will come back to this. What's today? It's June 24th. What's today? It's June 24th. We'll come back to this next year. If we're
right around this time, we'll know.
If we are in the same position next year as right now, I'm done. I'm picking a new team. So anybody who's watching, anybody who's got a team that's not the Pistons, and you want me to join your fan base, I'll send you my resume. So I've been with the Pistons through thick and thin. I'm tired of it. We've gotten rid of everybody. It's all former Piston greats on every other team. KCP, Andre Drummond, Luke Kennard was getting buckets the other night.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, it is what it is. But all right, that's my jersey story for the night. What do you got? First of all, we didn't plan this. We didn't plan this. We don't plan we don't plan to wear the same thing on the show. We just
all 3 times. So the past 3 times we did that. Because last time we were on the show, we both had jerseys. When we were at Mike, we both had our school shirts on. And then now we're back to jerseys. So this time I ended up going with the Bullets throwback jersey. So MJ, Michael Jordan, when he was on the Wizards, but they had the retro with it. And the funny story behind it is, so it's autographed, but it's not autographed by Michael Jordan.
I would say you definitely would not be wearing that if it was autographed by Michael Jordan. I'd kill you.
So wild stuff is, I used to go to like different basketball camps in middle school and high school. And Brendan Haywood came to high school near us, and I was like, "Mom, like I need to get Brendan to sign. I'm not about to just give him a piece of paper." So I said, "Let me give him the jersey and sign on the number 3," because Brendan Haywood was 33. So when you're young, you're like, "Oh snap, this is all right. This is kind of cool." So I ended up giving it to him. When I tell you, I've never seen somebody try to act happy, but was so annoyed, like, "Why the hell are you giving me this man's jersey? And I gotta sign this shit." So that's what this was.
I got one like that too. I had a white Tracy McGrady Orlando Magic jersey, and when I was like 10 or so, the Harlem Globetrotters came to State College, and I wanted to get something signed. And I was like, "All right, well, I don't have anything." Same situation.
Yep.
Busted out. I just took off the jersey, and I was like, "Can you sign my Tracy McGrady jersey?" they were all so damn confused. But like I was 10 or so, and they were like,
"What? Happy moment."
Yeah, like what are they gonna say? No, like, yo, I'm not gonna sign your Tracy McGrady jersey. Like, come on. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, like the things we used to do as kids to get some autographs.
God. So we'll do some housekeeping stuff just before we start. So we just had an AMA, a great interview with Mike Chan. And Steven, what were your thoughts on that before we keep going?
It was dope. He was very knowledgeable, obviously, about everything. The man's got a longer resume than both of us combined.
He really does. Yeah.
It's an awesome resume. It was a great conversation. Very down to earth guy. He opened about everything. Like we asked him pretty much everything. He dove into
answered Steven's questions that weren't even something that we set up to, and he had answers. So that's how you know he's someone that's knowledgeable, and it's not just like by the book of whatever things are.
Yeah, and we he pretty much knew what we were going to talk about. We didn't throw any curveballs at him or anything like that. So it was dope. He was hopefully we can keep talking to him and keep in touch and bring him on every now and then when UTU is kind of just making some leaps and bounds and this other you like that?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Shout out to UTU. Whenever they're making moves, which they are. It was great. Go on the YouTube channel and check it out. Subscribe, do all that kind of good stuff. Hit that button.
So make sure to smash the notifications, smash the like button, subscribe too. So we have a giveaway. So great alley that Steven just gave there. We have a giveaway for once we hit 100 subscribers, and if any video hits 100 likes, I will be personally giving away $100 in Bitcoin. But then the other giveaway that we have is we're coming up with a name for our crypto segment of the channel. So whoever can come up with the best and most creative idea will win $25 in Bitcoin for that one. And then shout out to the Luxo community. So Ethalorian and Luxo, once their Telegram hits 1,000 members, they will be giving away 100 Luxo. So last time I checked, Luxo was around $5. Well, $5 per Luxo. And that adds up to you're basically winning $500. So you can't really go wrong with that. So it's 3 great giveaways that you definitely need to make sure to try out. So another thing I want to do for housekeeping, just to let everyone know, is we have some AMAs that will be dropping. So hopefully tomorrow, after I finish everything with my content manager, we will be dropping the UTU AMA that we had. And then I just finished up another AMA with Teller. So Teller is a decentralized Oracle cryptocurrency. And great working with them. They're another one that's from the area, so DMV area, Steven. That's another big one.
Shout out.
Yep, shout out. So we will be releasing theirs hopefully either over the weekend or on Monday. We'll be able to get that one on. I think it's something that you all will be excited for. Finally, a big one coming back off Dubai. We got Tyler with SafeHaven that'll be coming through on July 5th. So that's another big one that you all want to just make sure to check out. We'll be talking about sports. We'll even talk about Tyler, what they did in Dubai. So they were part of the Global Blockchain Congress. And what that is they invited certain startup companies that they thought would do well in front of these different, very wealthy investors. And 2 in particular that were there were SafeHaven. So Tyler got to go out there. So I'm looking forward to hearing from him and what they did, some of their networking. And then he also said he has some surprise for us on the show. So definitely make sure to tune in for that. Then also Luxo was out there. So that's another shout out to them. So Luxo's always doing big things out there. Yes, sir. So what I want to dive into now, since Steven has CoinMarketCap up, is a lot of people are probably concerned about what's happening in cryptocurrency. So as everyone noticed earlier this week, Bitcoin actually dropped all the way. Well, I call it a pullback. Some people call it a drop, but it dropped all the way to basically 28,800. But the bounce that it had was pretty amazing, that it went all the way back up. At one point I saw today, 36,000. So if you would have gotten in around 28,800 a couple of days ago, you could have made over $5,000-$6,000 easily from you just investing. And a lot of people always want to invest at the top, but you shouldn't be investing at the top. You should make sure to invest during the pullbacks or when it's a dip or during the bear market so that you can reap the returns when you end up are in it for the long run during the bull market and stuff. And as you can see, in the last 7 days, a lot of the cryptocurrencies are in the red. They all have a similar pattern because a lot of cryptocurrencies will follow Bitcoin. There are anomalies. For example, Quant is one because they got listed on Coinbase and they've been doing some impressive things. Happy is another one that I noticed out there. You'll start to see some meme coins that'll end up moving against the grain. But even in the top 5, you have Ethereum that's always number 2. And then you'll have your other ones. Tether will always be up there, and you'll notice a lot in the top 100 will be your stable coins. So when the market pulls back, you'll start to see stable coins start to strengthen. So always make sure to pay attention to that. I will also announce right now that I should have another surprise coming out for everybody, hopefully either tomorrow or on Saturday. So make sure to check that out. But as we have CoinMarketCap up here, this is always the most important place to start off with a lot of your research. You'll also notice that Binance Coin is there. Binance Coin will always be in the top 10 almost. As long as CZ and them continue to make improvements and growth, they will continue to be within, I will give them like the top 15 at most. But most of the time, you'll start to see him in the top 5. Charles Hoskinson up there with Cardano is always doing good things. And then you have Dogecoin. Dogecoin is going to continue to be around. This was also a good time. At one point, Dogecoin was at 16 cents. And for any of the people that like the meme coins and things of that nature, if you would have noticed, Dogecoin increased a little over 11 cents since its pullback that it had as well. So that's what it is with the coin market cap. Thank you, Stephen, for that. I do want to just end up letting everyone know, because I start to receive a couple of inquiries, and then people ask me, what do I personally hold in like my portfolio? What do I hold in the company's portfolio? So 5, which are more so like the top 5, we do of course invest in a lot of different cryptocurrencies, but one is Hathor Network. So that's when you'll start to hear a lot. Ticker symbol is HTR. You can pick that up on KuCoin if you want to, but they are going to have 0 fees for swapping cryptocurrencies. It's something that I personally use myself just to try it out. Another one is Orion Chain. So they just released AI Rights, which is going to be their NFT marketplace. And they do have NFTs that are already up there. So shout out to Orion Chain. They're definitely doing really good things. Orion Chain is another decentralized oracle. So it's something smart that they're creating the AI rights as well. And then the next one is Luxo. So Luxo is another good one that everyone should end up just looking into. It's working to be an NFT blockchain. They have partnerships that are ongoing. They have a lot of great advisors, some from Burberry, some from Nike, and you name it, they almost have it. Instagram is another one. So a lot of people look at Luxo and say, well, why isn't the price super high? They have someone that was a co-founder of Ethereum. Because what they're doing there, Fabian and Marjorie, they're not just looking for the next get rich quick scheme. They're actually building something that will be important for years to come, and something that will be needed within the cryptocurrency space, but also in the technological space as well. Moving past that, we have Morpheus Labs. And this is another favorite I like to tell a lot of people about, and you'll start to see bigger Twitter channels and also YouTubers end up getting into this. It's basically a blockchain platform that helps to onboard other blockchain based solutions. And the final one is UTrust. So this is something that you'll start to hear me talk about and mention. I even try and chart at times. UTrust is a payment processing system, basically. Sonia is doing a great job over there, and I think that they're going to continue to do well for a long time to come. So that's the top 5. If anybody has any questions, you can always just reach out to me, let me know about that. But we're going to try and blend some things together. So it's going to be a mixture of sports and esports at this point. So the first thing I definitely want to get into are some of the, I guess, brackets. A lot of people in America, you know about like the March Madness, and then you'll end up having the NFL playoffs or Super Bowl. You'll have those things of that nature, fantasy sports. So something I want to let everyone know about is Fanzone is doing one for the UEFA Euro 2020. So as everyone knows, in Europe, that's a huge thing. Soccer's going on right now. I talked to Steven about it. Steven even was watching a game or two. I saw that, so shout out. So that's something that a lot of people look into, but Fanzone is giving away 10,000 credits if you end up taking their bracket that they have, and you have the potential to win that. So that's something that I'll be doing. Make sure you all try and do it too. Maybe we can even compare who ends up winning down the line. Another thing with Fanzone is if you guys get the likes up on these videos, Steven and I will make sure Steven opens one of their starter packs of soccer cards on the channel. So that's another thing, just make sure to look out for. A big one is Real Fever. And this is something that is based in Portugal. They're working to end up being a similar version of Top Shot. So for everyone that knows about Top Shot in America, basically NBA Top Shot, you get a moment. So that's what Real Fever is working to do and is doing. They're starting in Portugal, but then they're also going to work into fantasy sports. So that's something that actually attracted me. Steven and I are in a fantasy league together. We also do other fantasy leagues. So I think it's pretty cool, and NFTs try and blend the line with fantasy sports, and you have fantasy tokens. And then also if you can have like a moment. So the first one that came to mind, don't ask me why, is imagine if I had like Chris Johnson and like you have one of his moments. when he was CJ2K or something like that. Like crazy things of that nature. You have like a token, and it's also more bragging rights along with that.
That's a name.
Yeah, I know. That's a name right there.
That's a shout out right there.
Yeah. And what's crazy is they used to say CJ2K, and look, they just got another 2,000-yard rusher, Derrick Henry. So
speaking of him, real quick, do you know that he rushed for 2,000 yards in high school, college, and the pros?
Stupid.
That's crazy.
I don't know who can really stop him. So when we get into sports in that time, that's
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan. Shout out. But the next things, and we'll switch it over. So another thing I want everyone to check out is Project Mono. So it's something that Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, has also made acknowledgement of. And they're basically working to push the Ethiopian government into having cryptocurrency, aka Bitcoin. So this is something that everyone should look into. Africa is doing a heck of a lot of things over there. So do not sleep on them. One of the most wealthiest nations is Nigeria. A lot of people don't realize it because of what the government does to their citizens, but a lot of African nations have a lot going for them. And I really do hope that Project Mono and then Jack Dorsey and other individuals can help make Ethiopia and other African nations accept Bitcoin, or at least look more into it. And just for everyone to know.
We touched base about that with Mike on Monday night.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah, so I don't want to go too in depth with things that we already talked about. You guys need to check out the other episodes. But some politicians, just so everyone knows, that are looking into it are supporting it: El Salvador, Paraguay, Panama, Brazil, and Mexico. So those are just some. Check out. Yeah, no.
My man is fluent. My man is fluent in pronunciations.
So now we'll blend the line, and then we'll go into sports. So a huge thing that happened, and a lot of people probably have heard about it, and it's also a part of my June Crypto Challenge, but FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange that has done a lot of things that a lot of people might be sleeping on, but it's something important. So FTX, within the past 6 months, has basically signed a deal with 2 different leagues for $350 million. And they just signed a deal with the MLB to become the official cryptocurrency exchange brand of the MLB. So what that means is basically all the umpires will have a patch of FTX on their uniforms, which is a huge deal, more so for recognition and acknowledgement. And that deal was for 10 years, $210 million. So $21 million annually they'll be giving to the MLB. So it's definitely something. And for them to do that, they're not just doing it to throw it away. They're literally doing it because they want to get more awareness out there for everyone. But then the other side of it, you go to the Miami Heat arena, it's now called the FTX Arena. And that deal is worth $135 million for 19 years. So for 19 years, as long as nothing goes wrong, you will see FTX Arena. And that deal is $7.1 million annually. So those are just some of the things you guys can keep up with. Me personally, Steven knows this, a lot of people know this. I think that's a huge deal. Like you're throwing around 350 million. You don't always see a lot of different companies out there partnering and sponsoring in multiple different leagues and that nature. They're literally in 2 different major leagues in America. So they know that that's, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, sports and cryptocurrency, exactly why Steve and I made this. Sports and crypto, blending that is exactly what will help, because so many people watch sports, and why don't you just slide in the cryptocurrency in there so that they can understand that? So that's my cryptocurrency stuff. Now we'll switch this over into sports, and we have some quick thoughts because we have a huge topic that we want to definitely talk about today. And then we also have to have a rant about Portugal, but we'll get into that later. So the first shout out, I want to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. So I know a lot of you all have actually seen the video. Michelle Obama even shouted her out because of the video and her after a run speech. That's something I don't really like in sports. I know Steve and I have talked about it a lot, but they like to get right up on these athletes right afterwards. She couldn't even breathe half the time. So these are like raw emotions. And I'm just thinking, I mean, give her at least 2-3 minutes. She literally just ran 100 meters in 10.86 seconds. Like, so she's going to Tokyo, if y'all didn't know, but you're going to see her, maybe her orange hair. I know she had blue hair one time, but you're going to see her in Tokyo. So shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson.
Shout out.
And then we'll go into the UEFA Euro because we don't always just want to touch on 1 or 2 topics. In the sports side, just a couple of things. So now we are going to see some good matchups happen on Saturday. So you have Italy versus Austria. and then they're out of the groups play, just for everyone that doesn't actually watch soccer. But they're out of group play, so now they're almost getting closer to the finish. But Italy and Austria, and then you have Wales and Denmark. And then on Sunday, you have the Netherlands and Czech Republic. Then you also have Belgium versus Portugal. So those are just some games over the weekend to end up checking out. I do want to give one more shout out in soccer to everybody. Shout out. We have Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored 109 international goals. So that's the first part of this whole thing. Wild stuff. Like, for you to score 109 international goals is crazy. But I want to talk about a game that I watched. And if anyone was following my Twitter or anything like that, you probably saw my rant go on and on and on, because it was the Portugal and Germany game. And the annoying part is, it's not even the 2 goals that were own goals by Portugal. That's a different story. But it was the fact that they scored the goals, Germany, the same damn way every single time. So it was literally, all right, you know what? Cristiano Ronaldo scored the first one. Cool. I don't know how these people forget about Cristiano Ronaldo on the field ever. Like, if there's anyone you guard, that's literally, I was talking to someone today. That's literally like watching Russell Westbrook or LeBron just like drive down the court, and y'all just kind of like, all right, let's guard everybody else. But the equation for this one basically will be, think about in basketball when Otto Porter froze and they threw the backdoor pass and literally was just stopped. That's how I think about half the goals that were scored by Germany, because they always kicked the ball to the backside, and it was a setup. Like, every single time they were coming back to the middle, but they would kick it to the backside because they know those defenders were not paying attention. That once it gets to the backside, then they set it up for the middle. What happens every time? Defender went to sleep, and then it's an own goal. Defender goes to sleep, and it's a header. And I'm thinking, if y'all would have started on the backside, it would have been easy. Like, it's not rocket science. And every single time you saw it. So it's to the point that basically the whole team was like, all right, we're not just going to drive it down the field. We're going to set it up backside, bring it into the middle. And after 1 or 2 times, all right, cool. But if you keep doing it, you're kind of like, either take the dude out, take the whole defense out, or you might as well just say, what is wrong with us? But shout out Portugal. They still made it through. So that's a big thing. They'll be playing Belgium.
Shout out, yeah.
I know.
Damn, bro. I know. Golly. My man was going in on Portugal and Germany. Holy shit. Jeez, so, bro. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
I'll probably have more, because those games over the weekend are going to be good. And we'll also talk about Copa America over the weekend as well. So they'll have some big games coming up. But the first topic I want to get into is, we'll talk about the coaching. So shout out Rick Carlisle. That's something that was crazy. Is I was telling Steven today, I kind of felt as though that's where really I remember him from. Like, he was in Dallas for a long time, won a ring and everything there. And he even said that he basically felt as though that was it. Like, that's all that could be done. But how do you feel about him going back to Indiana?
So we talked at length about this today. Like, he stepped away from the Mavs, like 7 or 8 days ago. And I mean, you know damn well, like, since he's got the job, that Indiana was probably going to go after him, whether he was still with Dallas or not. So it just kind of made it easier that he stepped away from them, and they picked him up pretty much right away. The thing that I want to get into is, we'll just use these 2 for example. It's Becky Hammon and Chauncey Billups. Those are 2 names that are out there. 2, I guess, minority names that are out there that are on coaching lists. And first off, like, you and I don't know all these people who have quote unquote sources within the league, around the league, within teams. Like, they don't know. No one knows what's going on behind closed doors with these teams and their meetings, how many names they have on these coaching lists, who's getting interviews. They don't know, what the team is looking for in terms of philosophies from these coaches, style of play, based on the current roster. Like, there's so many factors, and like, no one has any idea what's going on. And what I told you was, like, Rick Carlisle got the job with the Pacers, and side note, it seems like Jason Kidd might be the top candidate for the Mavs coaching job now, which I think he would fit in perfectly there with Luka, but we can get into that when that actually becomes official. If Becky Hammon or Chauncey Billups well, like I said, we're using them just for the sake of conversation. If they don't get a job this time around, that's okay. Like that's like I don't want this to become a thing, and it's going to be just because it's a talking point, and it fills up airtime. Um, I don't want to be one of those things where Becky Hammond doesn't get the job for the Trailblazers, and everyone says, "Oh, it's because she's a female. They don't respect her knowledge." No, anybody who knows basketball, who follows the league, knows that Becky Hammond knows her shit.
Yeah.
Like she coaches them during the summer league. She coaches them during the preseason. I think if Pop steps away for a game, she's like one of the top people on the bench to take over. She knows what she's talking about. And if you listen to any player around the league talk about Becky Hammond when they all are like, yeah, she knows her shit probably more than half the coaches in the league do.
And they listen.
So, and Chauncey Billups, he's on the Clippers bench right now. He's a hot name going around. Rightfully so. It seems like a super high IQ basketball guy. I mean, they probably all are, obviously, but if we're talking about the candidates right now, if he doesn't get a job this time around, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if the quote unquote coaches in the minority don't get a job with the team. Like, if the Trailblazers go with someone else, it might just be because those two don't fit their philosophy. They don't fit the coaching style that they want for that current roster. Any number of reasons it could be. But like, if they don't get a job, it's okay that they don't get a job this time around. They're going to get the job they're supposed to get. Like it becomes a thing. And I hate that it becomes this talking point. And I mean, and I told you earlier, like if you just look at the averages and the numbers, like there's so many more white coaches on benches that, like, not even just in the NBA, but in the college ranks, because those guys come up from the college ranks and get to the league and all that kind of stuff. So, like, again, if those two don't get a job this time around, it's okay. Like, sure, it might be a bummer for them because they maybe wanted the Trailblazers job or whatever job is going to be open, the Wizards, whatever, shout out. But like, that's like, I'll get your thoughts, but like, I think is it a big deal? Like, maybe if you really dig deep, it's a big deal. But I think like they'll get the job that they're supposed to get, and they'll probably both do a great job. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't get, they shouldn't be like an equal opportunity thing or whatever. I don't want people to make, misconstrue anything, but like if they don't get a job this time around, that's okay. Like they'll get another shot with maybe a better team. And it's like, we've all gone through the interview process. It's the same thing. Like there might be people who are, maybe more qualified or have a better resume and they don't get the job, but it's like, maybe the people who are hiring, the managers or whatever, just like that person's attitude or whatever the case may be. And you're just like, damn, that sucks. But like, whatever, like, okay, I'm not gonna, it is what it is. Right. Like, I mean, am I making like not a big deal of this when I should be making a big deal? But like, what are your thoughts?
So I'll start with Ime Udoka. Shout out to him. Definitely getting that job out there. He's from the Greg Popovich tree. So that's a big thing. I always think that Greg Pop is definitely similar to Bill Belichick. They both have their trees of how many coaches are coming from them. In terms of, before I end up giving my opinions and thoughts, I think a lot of people are bringing this up in the NBA. When I did it, it's basically 5 NBA coaches are a minority. I don't like when people always just focus necessarily on Black coaches when it should be Black and brown and female. Coaches should all be in that same category. I'd be perfectly fine if a white female got it as well. I think the big thing that people need to understand is there are a lot of white coaches, assistant coaches, and staff members. And what we need to start with is you can't just think you're going to jump all of a sudden. You have to end up crawling, then walking, then jumping. So what I think we need to end up starting with is the general managers and the assistant coaches are the big things. So then you can end up getting more head coaching jobs. Steve Nash got it for multiple different reasons. I think someone that people need to pay attention to, and sometimes people forget, is Jay Kidd is basically mixed, aka Black. If you look at his kids, he you're going to classify him as African American more so. And I think that people need to understand that they will start to get jobs. Am I disappointed that some of them aren't? Kind of, but I even talk to people at my job. I don't like when you just throw a minority the position. I want them to be the most qualified person for that position. And if they get it that way, then it's correct. Are there some white coaches that basically are giving it and don't really deserve it? Yes, Chip Kelly's one. I will 100% say that. This man literally got it, and half the team did not even like him. He kicked away half the team, and clearly they're starting to come back. So you do have those people that are there. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Like you look at Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups has never been a head coach. Okay. No. He's been on the bench. I think this is his first stop, right? With the Clippers.
So he went from ESPN to there.
I mean, like, he doesn't, if you look at all the other head coaches that are out there, he quote unquote doesn't have the resume right now. I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not like a good candidate, or that doesn't mean that he shouldn't get a look. He just like, teams might be like, all right, well, we want to kind of see him maybe, coach in the G League, or like, have an actual more important role than just like, the third guy on the bench or something next to Ty Lue, which anybody can coach that team, with Ty Lue. So it's kind of whatever, but
yeah. Will I be like Stephen A. Smith and say there's not enough black coaches in the NBA? No, I won't be that way. But do I think that there should become more opportunities? Yes, but if it is the right person. I don't want it just to then throw someone in there, aka Doc Rivers, and then you're like, well, look what happened. We hired a black coach or minority and it failed. I want them to make sure that they are successful and in the correct positions. I will also say, shout out, if you look at the NBA right now, the 4 teams, 3 out of the 4 teams have a black head coach right now in the playoffs. Nate McMillan, Monty Williams, and then who's the third one? I should know this one. Yeah, Ty Lue. I forget him for a reason.
Nate McMillan is still the interim head coach of that team.
That's the thing. They didn't even put the actual tag. I'm pretty sure if they don't give him the job,
that's racist.
That's racist. Yeah.
Yo, we should have a segment. That's racist.
Yeah.
But see, the other thing about it is like, clearly the Pacers knew who they wanted to get.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll just use that example. Like, I know with the NFL, there's the Rooney Rule where you have to interview a minority. Right. Like, I mean, I get it. Right. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, that's a stupid rule. We should do away with that. But like in this example with the Pacers, they knew who they were going to get. Like, they knew they were going to go out to him. They were going to get Rick Carlisle one way or another. And like, you shouldn't have to like go through an interview process just to like satisfy certain needs of the league or of like the coaches, I think it's like the NBA Coaches Association, like whatever. You shouldn't have to do that. Cause that like, I don't think the Pacers did that. I don't know how many people they had on their list. If Carlisle said no, like if they had a list, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, whatever. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't think they did, because it happened so quickly and they knew that they were going to get him. But like, you shouldn't have to just, hey, come in for an interview. Just let you know, we're not going to give you the job. We're going to go with this guy or this girl. Like, so, but we're we're just going to bring in here because we have to.
Yeah. Like, I think that's Deuce Staley. And I'm a Philly guy, and they literally used and abused the Rooney Rule for this man. They knew both times, or any position, they weren't hiring him.
Right.
But they were trying to just satisfy it. And I don't like when you do that. I want you to bring in a qualified one instead of just saying, yeah, let's end up doing this. So like, I think a qualified one would be Coach Flores out in Miami. So he's a good coach. He is intelligent, smart. I think there need to be more Mike Tomlin. And it shows you there are good minority coaches out there. Now, what I would be interested to see is which sport ends up doing it first, because it'll be criticized to other sport. I would love to see female coaches as well, but also different types of minorities get positions in the NFL. I think that's the one we need to focus on more than the NBA. They like to focus on the NBA and kind of sometimes sweep under the rug the NFL when You should look at that. They don't mention it as much in what's funny is like the MLB or soccer, but I think it should be something that's equal in a lot of sports. Don't just focus on one, focus on all of them so that it can be an equal thing. But basically what I'm saying with all this is I'm happy that 3 of the 4 are minority coaches because it definitely gives a lot of credibility and helps in the future. Ime Udoka is extremely intelligent. He's been under Greg Pop for a long time and he waited his time and he's going to a tough city too. You being an African-American coach in Boston, that is tough. Like that is an extremely tough one. So they are going to give him hell.
Bro, if they don't go if they don't go 82-0 and win the NBA title, like I don't know what's going to happen. Like, but you remember when Steve Nash was announced the Nets head coach, some of the players on the Nets were like, all right, well, really? Like you're not going to give him the job. But when they retained him, they were like, oh, word, like, no, like at least we still have him on the staff. So I'm sure they're hyped for him to take that next step. But yeah.
But what helps is I think in Brooklyn, Amari's on that staff, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's Amari and Mike D'Antoni. So you do have an assistant out there. And the big thing, what I'm saying with all this is, are head coaching positions great for minorities to get? Yes, but I'd rather us fill those GM positions. Look at James Jones in Phoenix, or get the assistant coaches, those type of positions. So if we can get those, then it helps. You do have Ron Rivera as well out there, so I should consider him in the minority category. So you have 3
who's
in the NFL.
Who's the dude up in Toronto? The front office guy who got Masai
Ujiri, yes.
Yeah.
So they did him so wrong that time.
Yeah, they did.
They really did.
Classic white police officer. Yeah.
I know. And then the whole lawsuits and everything like that. I didn't know who he was. Yeah, you did. Like,
come on, bro. Like he's got a credential on.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that's that. The 2 things we'll end up starting with the Hawks and Bucks because I have a lot more to say with the Suns, and then they also come on tonight. But what are your thoughts on Hawks and Bucks?
I'm over the Hawks. Like I'm done, bro. I'm not ready for the Hawks to be the NBA champs. Like I'm just not. Like I feel like this season the people, players, and teams that aside from maybe the Bucks, I guess if they win it. Like everyone's winning like by default because all the other teams have been injured, and it doesn't seem like the Flippers are going to bounce back unless Kawhi comes back. But I haven't seen anything about him, so I don't know what that's
done.
Okay,
I personally think that he's done. I think it was either Windhorst or Woj that said don't expect him back, but they've been trying to cover up that report because he didn't travel with the team. Those 2 games, you have not heard anything really at all. You have not even seen him. And they were saying basically that even though it's a sprain, like there's a smidge of a tear in when it's a sprain like that because it's in the knee. And I'm just thinking, I don't think you're seeing Kawhi. Like there's no sight of him at practices.
Yeah.
Unless game 7 of the finals, you see him. But they're not trying to tell the Suns anything yet.
No. And I hope he comes back because this series could be over very quickly. If not, that series could be over. The Bucks and the Hawks, like I said, I'm done with the Hawks. Trae Young is now entering that Steph Curry. He's not status in terms of like where he is like among like the top players in the league. I think that can be up for debate, I guess. But in terms of like he's giving off those like arrogant vibes that Steph had. And like, dude, he's backing up. He dropped 48 in game 1.
He did.
Like, I can't say shit about it, but like I'm going to because I'm a fan. I don't hate him. Like people are gonna assume that I hate him. I don't hate him. I just don't like the shimmy. I don't like the antics. I mean, like it might be too old school for me to say that.
Old school. I was gonna say, yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm bitching about that kind of stuff. But like, bro, like just go out and ball. Like, after an and 1, I get it. Like you got a couple seconds. Like, and like if you're making shot again, if you're backing it up, like I can't say shit. If he went like, 8 for 25, shout out Chris Middleton.
17 of 34.
Yeah, and like he was
50%.
and he was cooking in the third quarter.
Yes.
Cooking.
Yes.
He threw a oop off the glass, driving to Collins.
They're real good together.
Like no one does that. Like we've seen players oop themselves off the glass, mainly because they have to. But for him to just to have that connection and then just do it. So I can't knock his skill level, but I'm not on the Hawks bandwagon. I'm just not doing it. I'm still rolling with the Bucks. I think Bucks and 6. I just need Chris Middleton to wake up.
Yeah, so
bro, wake up. Please.
Something I realized, I really do think that they need to run more through Holiday. Because of the fact Giannis is only going to help you with one thing. And do I think you're going to get 33 from Holiday every night? No. But it's going to take a team effort to end up stopping Trae Young. If you can stop Young, then you should be better.
I think I would agree with that. I think I've been saying this the whole time. My bulldozer doesn't know what he's doing with Giannis.
He doesn't.
I think if you just leave him in the paint and you just let those guys like Holiday and Middleton and Lopez. I mean, I know Lopez is 7 feet and should be in the paint, but he's not going to go to work down there like Giannis can. Giannis made 13 of 17 free throws. I think that's an anomaly, but you get to the line and you put the other team in foul trouble. You put them in the bonus, whatever. You shoot free throws the rest of the quarter, rest of the half, whatever. Then you get the other guys to the line. And the other guys on the team, Lopez and Middleton and Holiday, they're all much better free throws shooters than Giannis. So just it's a ripple effect of that. But Giannis should never shoot outside the paint.
And it's free time. You get paid too much money to not be making these free throws.
It's probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest thing in sports to do.
Look at LeBron.
I know for a fact, if we're talking about free throws here, we'll go to your boy Ben Simmons. I know for a fact, if I went and shot just right now, wearing what I'm wearing right now, put some shoes on and got a basketball, I know for a fact I could go to a gym with Ben Simmons and shoot 100 free throws and do better than 34%. I know for a fact. 34%, bro.
That's pretty bad.
You could do that. Mason can do that.
Bad. Yeah, he could.
Bro, there's bro, you're getting paid however much money these guys. And
max
I know
contracts.
Yeah, max deals. What are you doing? Why are you I just don't get why guys are so bad. Certain guys, those big dudes who are just they don't shoot ever. So that's just a very awkward thing to do. To stand there and shoot when they're used to posting up or getting just dunking it, whatever. But if you're anybody that's not a center, a true center, and you're shooting less than 70% from the line, get back in the gym, work. Ben Simmons needs to just work on that shit. Just go right-handed, dude. I don't care. Throw underhand. Rick Barry used to do that back in the day. He did pretty good. I mean, whatever works. But I'm back to your original question. I'm rolling with the Bucks in 6.
So I feel the same way. Mine's a caveat. I think they need more dogs on the Bucks to be like PJ Tucker. If y'all were like PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday, this wouldn't really be a series. But clearly, I don't know what y'all are doing. Chris Middleton needs to score more. I was talking to people today, and he's a shooter, but he's one of those streaky shooters. You're not going to get that from him every night, but you need to. You're paying him he needs to be scoring every single night. Max deal, yeah. So you're locking up between Chris Middleton and Giannis. Come on now, y'all have to be doing more. And the tough part is the Bucks are really one. Of course, if Atlanta makes it to the finals, all of Georgia's gonna be partying forever.
I'm not watching. I'm not watching. If it's the Hawks and the Suns, I'm not watching it. You'll just have to do that segment without me because I'm not watching it. No way.
And I think that. So I will say I think it'll be probably Bucks in 6, and I say that reason because the Hawks are young, but I think that you can wear them down, and they aren't going to longevity wise. I think they'll get tired more so than the Bucks. You have to make it almost half court basketball. You can't run full court with Trae Young because he's pulling from anywhere. Like him,
someone's got to step up on him too.
Yeah, you do. As soon as he touches the half court line, you need to be on his ass. Like you can't just be chilling back because he's gonna pull up no matter where. And in order for you to stop him, just like you try and stop Steph or Dame, you got to put an arm in his chest. They tell you that anywhere. Like you have to almost be up on him. You know the weaknesses. He's not driving every single time. He will at times, occasionally, but he's going to try and pull those threes. 17 to 34, you will let him go 50%. Collins had 23, and shout out my guy from Drumline Herder. He put in 13. Like
I know you saw that video.
I did see it. But then on the other side, you really only had 2 players scoring. You had 34 from Giannis and 33 from Holiday. So you had 67 points between your 2 guys. Like, you got to do a little better than that. At least spread it out because it's not the benches.
I said this. You can go with like when the Bucks were playing the Nets. Like, I'm cool with Trae Young going off for 48 points, but like you can't let anybody else get you.
Oh,
like just like all right, cool, dude, go off for 60. I don't care.
Yeah,
but like
you
can't.
The rest of the team.
Yeah, like you can't let it do. He accounted for what 72 points, I think it was. The most in an Eastern Conference Finals game. Like, okay, fine. Like, but like you gotta not let anybody else beat you. And like you said, Chris Middleton, dude, where you at?
Put some points up, man.
Where you at?
I remember you were texting me saying if he would have just hit a 3,
0 for 9,
like
6 of 23, I think it was. And you had like, but like you said, he's streaky. And he's got potentially 6 more games to get on that streak. Mm-hmm. I hope. Real quick, 14-10 Clippers.
Yeah.
With 7 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah. So we'll switch it over then to Phoenix Suns and Clippers series that I want to talk about for a second. What are your thoughts? It's 2-0.
Yeah, I think
2-0.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Good reference. I think clearly if Phoenix wins this game, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody would disagree with that unless Kawhi comes back. But even then, like he's not going to be healthy. So like he's just coming back just for like shits and giggles.
James Harden.
Yeah, just to give him some minutes and like potentially give him some points and maybe win a game. You just got to hope that Phoenix has a bad night tonight. You got to hope that I don't know if you stayed up for the whole game the other night. I did, which I regretted it the next day. I always do. Like, you know how I love those late games. First of all, this game's in Phoenix. Okay. Oh no, this game's in LA.
Yeah.
I don't care where it is. It could be on the moon. Like 9:00. What are we doing?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are we doing?
Duh.
Like, come on. Anybody who wants start that game at 8:30. Anybody who wants to be there will sit in traffic and get to that game. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like start that shit at 8:30. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Suns. I'm gonna go Suns in 5. Mm-hmm. I think LA wins tonight. And they'll bounce back, but they'll lose in 5.
So I'm actually gonna say the same thing. I think that Clippers are gonna sneak one out here. Shout out to the end of that other game. A lot of people are talking about Ayton, but that was the most amazing pass I have seen in my life. That's literally picture perfect. Only place you can put. So Ayton can get it. Batum is not reaching it at that point. And they did honestly all around good. It
missed the backboard. It looked like in the one camera angle by just like a couple inches. And shout out to Devin Booker for the screen he had on Zubox.
Yes. You can definitely tell that they wanted that all around. Like everybody out there. Another shout out I want to give is to Cameron Payne. So one of my fun stories, because I actually saw some good players back in ODU. So when I was,
shout out ODU.
Shout out ODU. So my senior year, I actually used to work in the box office. So like right after the game, right after whatever event we had, I would be able to sneak into the arena before everyone else could get into the arena. So I would save 2 seats for like 2 of my close friends. And we would sit like right behind the analysts and stuff like that. and it was the NIT, the game right before they went to MSG, where they finished it up, and it was Murray State against ODU. So I got to see Cameron Payne play. And a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know about Cameron Payne. He's really good, but the thing is, you're not going to be better than like Devin Booker or Chris Paul, so you're going to be outshined. But Payne giving you over 20 plus points, that's really impressive. That he definitely helped out because CP3 was not there. Because the big thing is, Booker's going to give you points every single time. I said the first game, he was going to score over 40. It was just the role players and everyone else around him that has to help. Now you have CP3 back, and then you're going to know what Cameron Payne's going to give you. So it adds another role and another X factor to this whole game. Bridges is going to give you stuff. Crowder is one of those dogs. Like, it don't matter. I remember they did the facts that they said once Andre Drummond did this, like, it was over after that. Like, once he did that on Crowder, I mean, when LeBron did it on Crowder, but Drummond did it right next to him, Crowder was like, all right, we out. And so long story short, I have it in 5. I could see it going 6 just because you know how the Clippers are. They like to lose the first 2 every time and then start winning games. But
I think I saw like Ty Lue's got like a 60% winning percentage when his team's down 0-2 or something like that.
Not many people have that. That's like crazy.
No. He also had LeBron for probably a lot of those.
Helps. Yeah. So when you have LeBron, that definitely helps. But I have them in 5. I also said to people that I have them winning the finals. My only thing is the only player that can outscore Trae Young or can score more than anybody else in the playoffs is Devin Booker. He can give you a 60 game if he wants, 70 game if he wants, 80 game. You never know how much this man is going to go off for. He gave you a nice 40. But if Booker is feeling it like he was that one time, it's over. Like, you might as well just say goodbye. And then you also have players around him. Like, it helps what the Hawks have with Trae Young, but also over here, you have Ayton, who's definitely going to give you buckets. Ayton has come a long way. He's going to get a good contract.
Yeah.
Like, that was a smart pickup they did.
Yeah.
His contract, I know they were sliding him money back at Arizona, but he's going to get real money now.
He's going to get paid.
Yes. So you have them. So I definitely could see the Suns winning. So I could see it. I want it to be the Suns and the Bucks. I could see the Hawks getting there at the rate that they're going. But like you said in the beginning, a lot of these teams are hurt. Like, even in the beginning, you have the Lakers and Heat go out first round. Why? Because they play so many games in a little bit of time. They're tired. You don't even have Murray that's there too. So with the Nuggets, you only had Jokic.
That's the other thing, that if the Suns win the NBA title, I'm only going to give them partial credit. Okay? Mm-hmm. In my personal record book, they're not going to have a full title, only a partial one. Now, if they beat the Bucks, that's why it's going to be partial credit. If they beat the Hawks, no credit. First round, they had the Lakers, right? The Lakers were decimated by injuries. We all know that. And shout out to my man, Alex Caruso. Free Caruso.
Free Caruso.
Hashtag.
You went back to Texas and I'm like, shit.
Got booked.
Yeah.
First round, they had the Lakers, decimated by injuries. Okay. Lakers were up 2-1 before Anthony Davis goes down.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning that series if Davis stays healthy. Second round, like you said, no Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, the Nuggets were in the conference finals last year, so they went deep. The Suns played 9 games in the bubble and went home. Like,
and they won them all, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they won all 9 games.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't in the bubble. Don't get me that. Like, they went home, they were fresh, they were ready. And I'm not, again, I always hate on teams and hate on players for shit like this, but like, it's just what I do. Yeah. Like, I'm not like the Suns are a legitimate team. They're not some like fluke 7 seed that came out of nowhere. Like, they got one of the best scorers in the league. They got one of the best point guards of all time. And DeAndre Ayton, like you said, he's woken up. And if it was DeAndre Ayton of last year,
it'd be different.
But he's come alive, and shout out to him. Second round, they had the Nuggets and no Jamal Murray. Nuggets looked fucking exhausted. And then now you got the Clippers without Kawhi.
I know, yeah.
So I mean, again, that happens. Like, that happened to the Warriors when they won their
point guard.
I think when they won their first one.
Because I think it was the Grizzlies, and they didn't have Mike Conley that was playing against them. So it's like every year, I mean, every time they missed every single good guard. Yep, this happens all the time. So like, it's not just the Suns where it happens too, but like, it happens to teams every year.
So they're going to get to the finals, and if they beat the Bucks, that's a huge accomplishment, especially if the Bucks come back, and win this series.
So stupid for a year.
Yeah, right. They should give him a ring anyways.
They should.
But if they beat the Hawks again, the Hawks are the Hawks. Like, I'm done with them. But shout out to the Hawks for doing it, for keeping Lemon Pepper Wings alive and well. Magic City, shout out to Magic City.
Good shout out.
Yeah, shout out. We'll do a live from there one time. But I'll give him partial credit for that one.
Mm-hmm. So we'll end it on that note, because honestly, we feel about the same. Lemon Pepper Lou, of course, but we're going to end it with the question like we always end up doing. So this time it's going to be, what sport do you like that a lot of people don't know that you like? A lot of times we do finance stuff or like investing or circulate around that way, but we're going to kick it back to the sports.
I would say, I'm a big, not that I've never done it before, obviously, but professional wrestling.
Real wrestling.
Yeah. Not so much anymore. No, like WWE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, I used to be a huge, like, I'm not so much of a fan now. I don't know if that counts. Like, it's a sport. I don't know if it's like,
it is,
but I
sweat out there.
Yeah, like that's some real shit. Like, if you ever watched it, I think we all used to watch it back in the day when it was like The Rock, Stone Cold,
Undertaker.
and like Undertaker, like Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, all those guys.
Yes.
Like, it used to be lit back in the day. You could do whatever you want back in the day. Rey Mysterio, right? The Big Show, Brock Lesnar, all these guys. It used to be real back in the day. Now it's like I haven't watched it in so long, but like I used to be all about that. I don't know, a lot of people know that I play golf. Big golfer. I played last weekend by myself, which was dope. Shot at 89, like a legitimate 89. People might scoff at that and be like, all right, whatever, like 89, who cares? But like, shout out to me for shooting 89. Shout out. But yeah, I would say, I used to be, and I still I tune in just to kind of like see what's going on and like see what type of shit the WWE is working with. Because Vince McMahon, anybody who knows professional wrestling knows that Vince McMahon is one of the craziest humans on earth. So he's always come up with something to kind of make their product better. But that used to be one of my favorite things back in the day. Me and my boys used to do backyard wrestling, all that kind of good stuff. I had the belts. I had the championship belts. I had like 3 of those things. A buddy of mine hit me with one of them up here, cut me open a couple of times. That was like hella dope. That was great. But yeah, pro wrestling used to be my thing back in the day. So I would say that golf is another thing that people probably don't know that I play a lot of. But yeah, what's good with Christian? What are you like a badminton guy? Pickleball? Are you a pickleball guy?
So I do play pickleball at times, but that's not even a sport. So of course, a lot of people know I like soccer. I like basketball, football. I tune into some baseball at times, but wildest sport that my mom and I would just randomly watch, lacrosse. So I So
dang, all right.
keep a lacrosse stick in my car. And it's the craziest thing how I got it. I literally found it, and then different kids. So I used to work in like Montgomery County. That was a huge area for lacrosse.
Shout out to Moco.
And shout out Moco while I talk about them. So like they always would play lacrosse. So one time I said, all right, like I'm gonna just start playing with you guys. And growing up in my old neighborhoods, I had a lot of kids that would do travel lacrosse and things of that nature. I never could play because my parents didn't have as much money for like those type of sports, and all I focused on was more so like basketball and football and stuff. But lacrosse, like my mom and I last year we were watching like the college playoffs, and we would watch Johns Hopkins. Of course, you have Duke, UNC, like those
Penn
different
State.
schools. Penn State, yes sir. And it started off with like me just watching one game by myself. And my mom would be like walking in the kitchen at the time, and then she sat down and started watching, because what people like about it is it's fast paced. They're not scoring 1 or 2 goals like soccer. They're going to score a good amount of goals, especially if you're watching a good team. And then how difficult it is to end up doing that. You have people hitting you. So it's basically similar to hockey, but without the skates. And then you're literally throwing this small ball in the goal, but then they do like no look goals and stuff. That's when it gets crazy, scooping the ball off the ground, then trying to throw it in. So that's probably mine. But some people do know. What's up?
Speaking of lacrosse, real quick, did you know that you mentioned all those like blue blood lacrosse teams, and there's plenty of them. Syracuse is another one. Like literally any Maryland college is dope at lacrosse. Penn State's Mac O'Keefe is the NCAA's all-time leading goal scorer in lacrosse history.
Damn.
Shout out to Mac O'Keefe.
That's crazy.
O'Keefe. Yeah.
What's crazy about Penn State, and we'll let Steven dive into this when we have a lot of time, but a lot of Penn State sports are nice. Like I have some friends that play on the volleyball team. Like you getting recruited for volleyball, wrestling, another big one, football.
Yo, yeah, we real quick, I always like to talk about the volleyball team, the women's volleyball team. There was one point, I think I was in high school. It was like 2007 to 2010, I think it was, that they won like 113, something like 105, 113, something like that. Straight matches. Like I think it was it was top 5 like
nice.
Longest streak in NCAA history. They won 4 national titles. Shout out to Russ Rose. He's got 7 national titles, I think. In Penn State wrestling, yeah, they've won 4 or 5 national titles as well. Yeah, Penn State football has gotta get on the trail, man. Like I swear to God, we'll talk. I want to talk about later on coming up on football season. I want to talk about you just got a title with Philly, with the Eagles. Yeah. So we'll say we'll pick the Sixers for you maybe. Like what would you give up though for the Sixers to win a title? Like I would give up, short of like really saying my wife and kids, I would probably give up a lot for Penn State to win just one national title. Like just one. Like I might give up my wife and kids just for one. Take them back eventually, but like I'd probably give up a lot. We can discuss that like later on once football season gets here. But yeah, I was talking about that with my family, like what we would give up for Penn State to win a national title.
So my 2, and then I'll just let you guys know the names and then we'll get into it. But it would be the Grizzlies and ODU. Like if either of them won anything, I literally be like, damn. Like I remember when it was just the grindhouse and stuff like that. And then ODU, if they literally ever won, and if they even got in the top 25, I think I'd probably. I sent
you those. Athlon Sports had their top 130 teams in college football, and they were like 122nd.
Yeah, we got some more.
They're climbing, bro. They're climbing.
Yeah. You got anything for the people?
Dude. Just free my man Alex Caruso, please.
Hey, free Caruso, and make sure hold in cryptos. Don't get scared. Just hold on. We'll be good. Like Drake said. Catch y'all later.